Welcome to The Future Is Now from AETHEON. Today's episode is the skills imperative. We'll focus on why the world is shifting fast, why skill building is essential, and how to take action now. I'm Gina Generoux, Chief Skills and Innovation Officer and co-founder at AETHEON. I've spent a large part of my career helping organizations and people get ready for what's next. And next is coming fast. This quote from Davos hits hard. The pace of change has never been this fast, yet it will never be this slow again. Pause for a moment and let that sink in. We all know we're accelerating into the future, but imagine that the slowest day we will ever experience again is today. The world of work is changing fast. Technology is accelerating. Jobs are being reshaped, and the pressure to stay relevant has never been greater. If you felt like the ground is shifting under your feet, you're not alone. But here's the thing. You don't need to be a superhero to survive and thrive. You just need the right skills and the right mindset. In this episode, we'll talk about the case for change, explore some key ways that work is changing, go deep on why I call this the skills imperative, and talk about what's next. Let's get started with the case for change. Over the past few years, I've been focusing on the megatrends that are reshaping our world, our work, and our skills. Here's the big five for me. The first megatrend is tech acceleration. AI, automation, immersive tech, and synthetic media are rapidly reshaping what work is, how it's done, and who or what does it. The next trend is the human edge. In a world saturated with tech, the ability to be deeply and successfully human, that is, empathetic, ethical, creative, and resilient, is the ultimate differentiator. This is about thriving with and apart from technology. Next is demographic disruption. Aging populations, shrinking birth rates, and Gen Z's rise to power are redrawing talent pipelines, expectations, and cultural norms at work. The fourth trend is planet and purpose. Sustainability, well-being, and social impact are now business imperatives. People want to work in ways that matter to themselves, their communities, and the planet. And finally, value recalibration. The meaning of value is shifting from profit at all costs to impact that balances economic strength, human dignity, and long-term sustainability. As global instability grows, we're seeing a reset in what that really means in markets, in talent, and in how we measure overall success. These trends aren't really new, but they're coming together in ways that are amplifying their impact. They're also setting the stage for some big numbers. 200 million workers have quit their jobs since the pandemic. We have a shortage of 85 million skilled workers expected by 2030, and seats are already sitting vacant. Skill gaps are expected to drive a global business impact of $15 trillion by 2030. Companies are responding in key ways. They're restructuring to drive greater efficiency. Digital transformation is accelerating the need for critical new skills. Companies are increasingly matching skills to work instead of matching people to jobs. We're seeing greater mobility of talent within companies and skills-based hiring accelerating when we're getting people from the street. C-suite leaders are also making bold decisions to accelerate strategy and investment. In recent reports from PwC, Ernst Young, and BCG, 100% of CEOs declared that they're already investing heavily in AI, or at least they have plans in place to do it soon. 70% of these leaders believe Gen AI, or generative AI, will have a big impact on how they create, deliver, and capture value. And companies around the world are estimating that 90% of the workforce must build new skills by 2030 to make the most of these company investments. Speaking of AI, although artificial intelligence offers great promise, it also comes with risk. Here are some key examples. The first is bias and ethical blind spots. AI can bake in harm when we're not looking. From data bias to opaque decision-making, the risk isn't just technical, it's ethical, and it hits marginalized groups the hardest. The second is cyber threats. So AI doesn't eliminate cyber risk, it raises the stakes. We're seeing everything from adversarial attacks to vector poisoning. New capabilities mean new vulnerabilities. The third is lack of explainability. In sectors like finance, healthcare, and law, decisions need to be audited. If we can't explain what the AI did or why, we can't trust it. The fourth is IP and privacy risk. We're in uncharted territory. From scraped data to cloned voices and biometric surveillance, the lines around consent and control are getting blurry. Of course, we've all heard so much about number 5, workforce disruption. This isn't just about job loss, it's about role shifts, skills decay, and confusion over how humans and machines work together. It's messy, and we need a plan. Number 6, misinformation and synthetic content. We've entered the era of deepfakes and reality confusion. The risk isn't just fake news, it's not knowing what's real at all. Number 7, over-reliance on AI. Perhaps the most overlooked risk is that humans are tuning out. When we blindly trust the machine, our own judgment atrophies. That's really dangerous. And finally, number 8, environmental impact. Training large models takes massive computing power and energy and water. Carbon impact and environmental impact matter, and AI's footprint is growing fast. So now that we've set a strong foundation, let's look more deeply at the future of work. According to the World Economic Forum, 85% of the jobs that will exist by the mid-2030s haven't been invented yet. That's a wake-up call for workers, for educators, and especially for employers. We can already see that jobs are changing fast. Many roles that were common just a decade ago are already obsolete. In their place, we've seen new jobs emerge in tech, sustainability, and content creation. And as we look to the 2030s, even more change is coming. In the 2010s, roles like blockchain engineer, autonomous vehicle designer, or YouTube influencer didn't exist, or they were barely emerging. Today, they're all very real. Looking back, VCR technician, assembly line worker, or on-site tech support were really common in the 2010s, but they've now faded or vanished. So what could we see by the mid-2030s? Quantum ethicists? Cultured meat farmers? End-of-life coaches for an aging population? These roles may sound speculative, but chances are they'll emerge much sooner than we think. If the last decade has taught us anything, it's that even futurists underestimate the pace of change. That's why we need to be bold now. It's not just about imagining the future of jobs, but about building the skills that will carry us through it. So what's the big deal about skills? It seems like skills are on everyone's mind these days. If you did a search on the word skills, you'd get more than 5 billion results. That's a lot of hits. So let's talk about what we really mean by skills. A skill isn't just something you know, it's something you can do and apply with impact. It's capability in context. Skills show up in action, in how you think, how you solve problems, how you connect, build, adapt, and make an impact. So, which skills matter most? I recommend focusing on the top 12 for 12. That's 12 high-impact skills to help you thrive over the next 12 years. I like to think about them in 3 categories. The first is technical and digital skills. These help us keep pace with fast-moving technology and business. From digital and AI fluency and prompt engineering to data storytelling and financial acumen, these skills power smarter decisions and innovation. The second category is human or power skills. They help us relate to one another. Focus on skills like empathy, adaptability and resilience, communication, collaboration, and influence. They're the glue that holds teams, trust, and culture together. Higher cognitive skills help us think deeply, flexibly, and ethically. They include critical thinking, creativity, innovation, and problem solving. These skills help you not just use AI, but interpret it, question it, spot bias, and evaluate whether an answer is useful, ethical, or even right. The skills that are shown in purple on this page, they span all three categories, and they're powerful in an AI-driven world because using AI well isn't just about knowing the tools. It's about how you frame problems, ask better questions, evaluate responses, and apply insights in context. These unique skills are what set us apart and help us create value, meaning, and connection in an AI-fueled world. You know, in many ways, problem solving is one of the most important skills on this list. Let me share a story to explain why. In the 1990s, NASA commissioned a long-term study on creativity. They took 1,600 4- and 5-year-olds and put them through a series of tests that felt like play. What did the results show? 98% were identified as creative geniuses. So here's the twist. They followed these same kids through grade school, high school, university, and into the workforce. So what percent do you think were still creative geniuses by the time they were adults? Only 2%. Amazing, huh? It turns out these kids went from 98% in preschool to 30% in grade school, 12% in high school, and 2% by the time they started working. Along the way, they were taught to follow the rules and find the right answers. They stopped thinking like creative explorers. Here's the thing. The world in front of us will be full of complex, fuzzy, messy challenges that may not have a right answer and that AI may not be able to solve. So we need to rebuild these fundamental skills around solving new problems, not just for kids, but for all of us. The people who thrive in the future won't be the ones who know the answers. They'll be the ones who can figure things out. Across the industry, we've spent years talking about learning and training, but here's the truth. Training is really an event. Learning is a process. And skill building, that's transformation. And we need transformation. By 2030, 70% of today's skills will be disrupted. The half-life of a skill, that's the point where it starts to get stale, is only 2 to 5 years, and it's shrinking. And here's something most people haven't wrapped their heads around yet. As AI reshapes healthcare, people born after the year 2000 could live to be 125 or even 150 years old. A 60 to 70-year career might not be that extreme. It might become the norm. So the question isn't what job do I want? It's how do I keep learning, unlearning, and reimagining what I can do over an entire lifetime. Right now, the average employee gets about 64 hours of learning a year, and that includes onboarding and compliance, as well as things like skill building. But it's not enough. It will actually take at least 75 hours a year just to stay current based on the pace of disruption. The interesting thing is that doesn't include onboarding and compliance and other types of learning. And it's not enough. The new gold standard is 250 hours a year. That's time to learn, reflect, apply, and grow. It's the new 5-hour rule. That's 5 hours a week, scaled for the future. And that doesn't mean taking courses. It's not about more content. It's about more readiness, more range, more application, and more resilience throughout your entire career. Have you seen this cartoon? Two people are frantically sawing away, getting nowhere fast, but refusing to stop and sharpen the blade. It's kind of funny until you realize this is exactly how many companies treat skill building. You can't cut with a dull blade, and you can't make a deep impact with dull skills. When people are stuck in outdated ways of working, using outdated tools and outdated thinking, no amount of effort will create outsized results. Sharpening your saw is the only way to move faster, smarter, and with impact. A lot of people ask me where they should focus the time they're investing in skill building. I recommend spending 70% of your time building the skills you need today. So this includes upskilling, which helps you stay sharp in your current role by deepening your capabilities, adopting new tools, and improving your efficiency. It also includes reskilling, which prepares you to shift into new types of work by learning fresh skills while carrying over the ones you already have. The other 30% should go to what I call pre-skilling, building the skills now that you'll need for the future. This helps you assemble a unique set of Lego blocks that you can rearrange and adapt as new work emerges, even jobs we haven't yet imagined. Instead of starting from scratch, you'll already have a solid base to build from, making you more agile, more prepared, and ready to step into whatever is next. We each have a unique set of skills, like our own personal set of Lego. So which skills do you have? What's your level of proficiency or mastery? What credentials have you earned? And which ones will you earn next? At Atheon, we're passionate about helping people surface the skills they already possess, celebrate them, and build new ones over time in ways that get recognized and rewarded. We developed the Skills Pro Index to measure the value of your skills by looking at the depth and the breadth. This measure of value is unique to you, and it's what helps you drive results in everything you do. When organizations focus on skills, everyone benefits. Traditional hiring focuses on rigid job roles, which can be built on generic or lengthy boilerplate descriptions. How many times have you seen a job posting that's been copied and pasted till it gets to the point where it's hard to know exactly what the work looks like? When these types of rigid job profiles are posted, they can lead to teams with overlapping strengths, gaps, and missed opportunities. Instead, imagine breaking jobs down into work into tasks, and tasks into skills. When you get that granular, you can match people to the work based on their skills, not just the roles they've done in the past. It's like building a Tetris board of skills. Instead of gaps and duplication, you get tight skills coverage and real team optimization. When that happens, the business impact is clear. Companies can reduce turnover, accelerate time to productivity, lift performance, improve customer satisfaction, strengthen brand reputation, and build more agile, future-ready teams. Skills deliver value. Timing matters too. It's estimated that AI can create a 20% productivity boost for organizations, assuming people have the skills to use it well. But leadership skills have even greater potential. An 85 to 100% lift in personal performance, and a 5 to 15% lift in team performance. But here's the challenge. Most leaders don't get to develop those skills until mid-career. Imagine, what if we started earlier? What would happen if leaders had a chance to build and apply leadership skills years earlier? Imagine earlier leadership skills and the impact for them, their team, and their company. Skills matter, and timing matters a lot. So we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about the shifting landscape, to the skills that matter, to how you can start building your own skills advantage. So what's next? Here's a great piece of wisdom from Salim Ismail, entrepreneur, author, investor, and a leader at Singularity University. He says, if you're not disrupting yourself, someone else is. That's the reality we're living in. But you have a choice. Be the disruptor or be disrupted. There's no middle ground. Now is the time to build your skills, get future ready, ignite your potential, and open new doors to new opportunities. Thanks for joining me for today's episode. I look forward to seeing all of you in the Atheon community. Bye for now.